Well, what do you know? We're back again, episode 5, the fastest growing podcast in real tennis in the world, in Leamington, you name it. Our listenership...
It's been multinational.
Yeah, I know. Our
started in Melbourne.
Literally, our listenership, if that's even a word, it's growing. The feedback's been amazing. A view from the hazards. Robert Shankman, Ben Taylor Matthews here again. Ben, start us off with a hazard joke, please.
Right, Shankers, if I was a toy, then what toy would I be?
I don't know.
A choking hazard for irritating children.
It's a bit dark, but...
Well, when you remind me 30 seconds before we go live, that's what
Yeah,
you're
fair. No,
that's
no,
what
it's
you're
done.
gonna get.
I like. It's all right. Well, I got it. I might recycle it later in the library.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, literally.
If it gets recycled, it's worth it.
But yeah, no, plenty of engagement with the pod last week. A lot of people liked it. We were talking about getting better, weren't we? People were like, "Oh, it's the best one yet." But yeah,
I actually had quite a lot of good response to that.
Yeah,
from,
genuinely
a few
same.
External people found it quite interesting and valuable.
No, genuinely, it was a good podcast. But this week, what are we on? What are we on this week?
Right. Well, I want to talk to you about tournaments.
Cool.
I mean, we've done the 5-set, 3-set thing.
Oh yeah, we did actually. Yeah. Feels like ages
Does
ago.
feel like a long time ago. Feels like a few miles away from where we are now as well.
I know. Funny enough, actually, that podcast was recorded the first day after we did the previous one. So basically, we did the first podcast, uploaded it, and then we just recorded the next one because we were bored.
We were on a roll, weren't we?
I think I deployed it like a week later. But anyway, carry on.
So, I thought about this a few years ago, and I must not steal their idea, but Lewis Gordon, Petworth House Pro, bizarrely, when I was up in the sky on my way to Chicago,
nice,
on the Wi-Fi, texted me and said, "I've got this really good idea for a tournament," and I was like, "Mate, how strange!" Like I had that same idea a few years ago and put some numbers together and stuff. I'm not sure if it works. Anyway, we were chatting about it for a couple of hours. Then I got to Chicago and crunched some numbers and stuff. Not sure if it'll work. So, I mean, I could use this as a sales pitch, couldn't I?
Well, I mean, isn't that
any generous benefactors out there?
Isn't that what a podcast is, right? It's just getting ideas out there.
So, right, here's a question for you. Right, Bathurst Cup, okay?
Yes.
Like, let's call it the World Cup of real tennis.
Well, it's definitely not, but anyway.
Well, but it is. It is.
It's like the non-league World Cup. Like if Oldstream was playing Leamington.
It's the only World
That's
Cup
quite
of
brutal,
tennis.
actually. That's ridiculous. But anyway, carry on.
It's the only World Cup of tennis. It's the only national team event, barring like the under-25 stuff and all that kind of stuff. So, why is there not an open Bathurst? And
That's
by
so
that,
true.
I don't mean like pros only. I mean open, i.e., like the best people that your country can provide. Think about it. So let's say it's like if you took like, let's say the top 2 as it stands at the moment, and you go purely on rankings, obviously, you've got America would be Cam and I assume Tim still. I'm just thinking off the top of my head here.
Yeah.
Australia would be Rob and Chappers.
Yeah.
It would be like me and Lummers.
Or Bryn.
Well, Lummers on ranking. I'm literally going purely on ranking.
That's fair.
But
you'd have a squad of 3, wouldn't you?
But you'd have like people like Bryn trying to get into our team, like on ranking, like Darren, people like that. You'd have like Nick Howell ready and Steve Fagona ready to just like fall into the
Aussie team.
Steve Fagona, US citizen, could even play for America.
Yeah, actually, he's a US citizen as well. But that'd be so boring if he did. Same with Stout. Stout's US citizen, isn't he?
Exactly. But ranking-wise, he gets himself let down.
The Bermuda side's struggling.
Exactly. They got a good number 1.
Yeah, they do.
Like Mathieu Sarlong and, France, can't think of anybody good off the top of my head. Victoire or somebody like that. Seigneur, I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't see why. Like, how much... I think that would just get a lot of traction, don't you think?
I think it'd be pretty cool.
You could tier it as well. You could have like...
Yeah, Lewis said... I think he suggested...
That was his idea, which was different to mine. So all credit goes to Lewis for this one. But, you could literally go like, right, the best squad of 2 or 3 you can get. And then still part of the squad, without fail, is like, I don't know, like off the top of my head, like a 0 to 10 or a 5 to 10 or something. And you could have like, not a second tier, that's not fair. Yeah. It all goes towards like the team event, as it were.
For me, this is definitely every 3 years or every 4 years. I would want to have this. I wouldn't want to have it every year.
What's the World Cup? How often does the Bathurst take place?
Every 2.
Is it?
Maybe you could alternate, so you have it in a non-Bathurst year. So you got the amateur one, and
I'm sure the amateur associations would love that.
I mean,
push them back every 2 years to allow some like grotty servants into play.
I couldn't care less, to be fair. The game's moved on. The world's moved on. I think it's cool. I think the concept of a World Cup would be quite easy to market, wouldn't it? One thing I was thinking, right, so when you were talking about the teams, which I didn't know what you were going to say, genuinely didn't. I was thinking like franchises, because you were talking about benefactors, and I was like, you could have like 5 benefactors, like having like a company team. It wouldn't have to be like, obviously it would be countries, but let's say the Australia team sponsored by Qantas. I don't know.
Well, that's what I did a few years ago for the National League team. I played for the Deadness. I played for a club, but the club was the Deadness. Or a foundation, or whatever.
I don't know why there's not more franchises in National League. I mean, obviously National League is maybe the Premier League's not what it was when it was sponsored by Maurice LaCroix, or however you say it. It's a good story about that. We won't tell.
What, you not being able to say it properly?
No.
Maurice LaCroix.
About your watch.
Oh yeah, that got stolen.
Yeah. Anyway, did it? But yeah, when National League was obviously sponsored by watches, I mean that's amazing. And I was thinking, like, why you could have franchises, but like the Real Tennis IPL.
Yeah, I mean, I just think like there's obviously loads of different ways you could go with it, but I think like when we were practicing yesterday, and we were talking about the Field Trophy final on Saturday, Leamington v Jesmond.
Yeah, so I'm just getting my practice in.
And you were saying like, I really enjoy, because you said, I'd love to win the pole. And
it's a team event.
And I said, why would you like the pole? Really?
Yeah.
I'm not, don't get me wrong, like it's a nice thing to win in your career, but like, is that really a major thing? And you said, I love team events, and it just added fuel to the fire of this World Cup thing. The only team event that you get to play in if you are a pro is a doubles match. That's it.
Yeah. Or National League, but that doesn't really exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so true, like, because obviously in the field and the pole, which you won't get as a pro, like, the captain's allowed to coach in theory.
God, no. We're not allowed to, but we're just there to
it's
mark.
Which is really cool. Like, everyone's watching and obviously getting behind you. And so you've got, like, 6 teammates who are cheering you on. I mean, which is more valuable in some cases than others. But, like, yeah, it's really cool. Like, you're all there for the day.
It would just be, like, quite a fun thing to do as well.
Agree.
Because you'd have, like you say, if you get a team of, I don't know, if you get a squad of 6, the 3 best you can get, and then or just the next best. I don't know, however you do it. You've got like 2 people playing singles. You've got 10 people in there, like cheering on you. Obviously 5 each, but like cheering on your squad. The only obviously big drawback on it is like the expense of it.
It's always a problem, isn't it?
If you're getting a load of pros, that you've got to fly them all to a certain country or something, and the logistics, it would be a struggle.
But it's the World Cup of tennis, right? It could be a pinnacle. I mean, who knows?
Get FIFA to run it.
Literally, I wasn't really concentrating on what you were saying. I was just thinking about like if you ever went for beers during the tournament, like, I'm playing for England. It'd be such good. Yeah, I'm actually playing for England in the tournament.
Who would win the boozing? I'll tell you who'd come last. I'll tell you what, the wooden spoon would be like America versus France.
Boozing, yeah. Great, yeah, it'd be fantastic.
I just mean as a nation, like England and Australia would be like fighting that one out.
Absolutely, yeah. Rob Fay, dark horse. Maybe not.
Well, okay, if we're talking personnel, then we are getting quite interesting. I mean, the problem is I would literally have to carry Lummers and Bryn.
Oh, Lummers, Jesus, you have to drink half pints.
That's hard. That would be hard.
But you might rise to it.
See, Chappers would be a dark horse.
Nick Howell, get him on the red wine.
Exactly. If you could choose your own,
he'd bolting bottles of red wine.
He'd be tucking red wine in. Chappers would be good on like the rum and cokes. He'd be churning them back.
Yeah.
Give him 10 pints. He's got nothing. But stick a bottle of rum in his hand and he's like, let him go.
God. Bagona, maybe just channel something.
Doesn't drink anymore.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, we'd have to get the old one back, but no.
Anyway, I think that would be a bit of fun. Let us know what you think. Indeed. I mean, it could be like ridiculous. It could. I mean, the fact is, people say it would never work. I don't think it will ever work, which is why when I was talking to Lewis about it, I was like, it is a great concept. I just don't think it'll work.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think?
I think it's seriously cool. We were talking about team events, and I think that's what real tennis lacks a little bit, because obviously you talk about the crowd, and in America, obviously the crowd got really into it when you were playing doubles with Steve. And I think maybe for this team event,
that was hilarious. Sorry, that was literally like Tim and Cam versus Steve. I was like, guys, I am here. I do have to serve and return occasionally. I might not do much else.
Miss a few volleys at the net.
Exactly, I can like shank a few around.
I just think the crowd would be mega. Like we've never really seen like an amazing British crowd apart from like the World Championship. I'm thinking of when Rob was playing at Queen's.
When they're cheering for an Australian.
Yeah, it's a weird one. But like obviously you're giving English fans the chance to travel. I mean the groupies, amazing. I'm sure like Nick Jones would come and support England.
Be perfect. Anyway, I just think it would be a good idea.
I agree.
I'd like to know what people think about that as well.
Yeah, Yeah, so World Cup of Tennis.
Suggest some formats.
Some formats. I mean, would you have a group of 4 quarterfinals, last 16 penalties?
Penalty shootout.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, what do you reckon? World Cup of Tennis. Do you reckon it would work? Yeah.
I've got another one for you.
Perfect. Because
I've got another one for you. So the ATP World Tour Finals that gets played in London.
Yeah, that's a good tournament. Good tournament.
I don't see why. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do here. If he listens,
okay,
he's going to get really pissed off by this. So I apologise in advance. And it's nothing like against the tournament that is currently run because I've played in it every year. I've supported it every year.
Yeah.
But in terms of the time slot, imagine the Champions Trophy was a World Tour Finals. And I'm only picking it because
why can't it be?
Well, I'm only picking it because they've come up with their own format and the format is different from other tournaments. Whilst I personally think it's a tough format on the top 4, even though they effectively get a bye, they've come up with something different, and hats off to them. And the Palace get behind it, and it is a good event. It's a very, very good event. I'm only thinking of like that time slot. All right, just at the risk of people thinking I'm being a bit antsy about that. Let's go back 4 years, and the Champions Trophy doesn't exist. Yeah. You've got people playing from generally September, like French Open is generally considered to be the start of the season.
Yeah.
US Pro traditionally the end of the season. So you've got that gap in the middle. Imagine if you had you've obviously got the World Championship race going on, which is a 2-year cycle. Imagine every year there was another small system where people would accumulate and those top 8 qualify for exactly the same thing, round robin tennis. That's another big bugbear of mine. There is no tournament in place where you can play a round robin.
Yeah, it was good. We're talking about the Champions Trophy, the qualifying for that is pretty cool. Thing. It's just first to 9 round robins. You get to play everyone.
Well, the funny thing is as well is what you do for every single club tournament, on a club weekend or something like that. Everybody plays in groups. Everyone plays in boxes.
Yeah. It'd be sick because there's a lot of people who are always on the other half of the draw, just naturally. I think now the way they flipped the seeds.
Yeah, I don't know what you'd obviously put 1 and 2 in a box, and then you'd flip for 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7, whatever. Yeah. It's not, or you'd place it. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But I just think it would be quite fun to do something like that where the players get a second chance once they've lost. And again, Champions Trophy, you get that if you're one of the top 4. But I'm pretending that tournament doesn't exist. And I don't know how you do. Best of 3 seems quite aggressive because again, it takes longer to do it. But I just think
first to 14.
Well, you'd have 4 matches a day, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd have 2 from each group, or you could have one big set. But I do like the idea of finishing a set and having a chance to reset and start again. And then here's a couple of extra caveats, right? I think that you have a bit of fun with it. And say something like, and I'm just literally brainstorming here. This could be the worst.
I like
idea
it.
Ever.
Thinking aloud.
The winner of the 0 to 9s gets a spot.
Gets a wild card.
Straight in.
It's like winning the PGA Tour secures your future on the PGA Tour, doesn't it? Yeah, a wild card.
I know the US do something similar-ish.
PGA Championship.
No, I'm not talking about golf.
No, I meant that. I said the winner of the PGA Tour. It's the winner of the PGA Championship.
Right,
sorry, Ben.
I know that New York, I think, do some similar kind of 0 to 9s thing.
It's the US Invitational, yeah. It's in March or April or something.
So again, winner of that, automatic invite. These people don't have to go. If Leon Smart wins the 0 to 9s in New York and goes, I'm not coming all the way over to England for that. You'd be like, fine, you don't have to. But you have an invite to that event.
Yeah.
And just a couple of groups of 4, semis and a final. Wouldn't take that day. it wouldn't take that long. You could get, I don't know, you could maybe you could make people play three-set matches in a row, like day 1, day 2, day 3.
That's fair, yeah.
Give them a day off and then do semis and final back to back.
So that's like a week-long tournament. You could do that in 5 days.
Yeah, but you've got 4 matches a day, so whoever's hosting it as a club, you get all the prime time slots. You know, you do 1, 3, 5, 7, or 2, 4, 6, 8 if you want to be particularly
I think a
harsh.
4-match day. So let's say when they do the IRTPA and it's quarter-final day, my dad always says to me, like, when's the quarter-final day? I want to watch the 4 matches. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, is it 1, 3, 5, 7? No, it wouldn't be that. It's slightly before, right?
We did 1, 3, 5, 7 here.
Or 12, 2, 4, 6. Oh yeah, you did 1, 3. Yeah, that's that. Those
because we wanted to try and make sure we got 2 evening matches in. Which
Yeah.
you know, I'll tell you what, it's tough. As the last match, if you've had a couple of nightmares before, then you know that is tough. But then
that 4-match format is cool.
It's one of those things where you know people kind of go, oh, I don't want to get on court that late. Like your amateur singles match, like you got on very very late for that.
Yeah, gone at 9 p.m.
some of these like lawn tennis guys out in like Australia and stuff aren't getting on court until like 11 p.m.
Yeah,
okay,
they just have to suck it up.
They're getting paid a lot more than we are.
Well,
certainly a lot more than you are.
Just a little bit.
Okay, right, let's throw this into the mix.
Go on.
Imagine hosting that event at a 2-court venue and getting matches on back to back. Like simultaneously.
I was immediately drawn to Cambridge. I mean, I think
what a crowd.
What I'm going to say is Cambridge.
People can just float between the 2 courts.
Cambridge sell themselves as like this home of tennis, and this isn't controversial. I'm just saying what gets put on Twitter and stuff like that. Home of tennis, Cambridge. I mean, where's your major tournament? Is all I'm saying. Cambridge ate like the ILTPA finals in the summer. Why not? People could float. Yeah, they could.
You could do 5 and 7 on both courts.
Yeah.
Or you could do 5 and 7 on one court, 6 and 8 on the other. So you can stagger.
Yeah.
So you've got like as one match is an hour old, the next one's just starting. So you might end up having like the first match is an hour and a half. You can go in and watch the second match, and they finish the knock up, and they're maybe like 2 or 3 games in. You can watch the whole of the next one again.
I feel like because Cambridge. I don't know why I'm still talking about Cambridge, but like the courts are
it's the home of tennis.
It's the home of tennis, yeah. The courts are so different. Like I feel like you could actually do it because it would just be like, yeah, it would work. It would just work because they are so different.
Yeah, they are completely different courts.
It's right. All right, I'm on the blue.
Prested, the courts are different.
Yeah.
Queens, they are different, but not as drastically different as the other ones.
In a 2-court venue would be cool. I don't think there's enough stuff at 2-court venues. Obviously, it's just like the championship court.
Yeah, I mean, you could also, you know, I'm thinking about like
New York would probably be perfect for that because both the courts are actually pretty similar.
Yeah, that would be absolutely ideal. Melbourne, very similar as well. Like that would work. But then you could easily change it up slightly. It does mean that the crowd would have to like pick and choose their venue, but you know, like we share a lot of stuff with Morton.
Yeah.
To encourage like more entries and effectively turn ourselves both clubs into like a 2-court venue. There's just a 15-minute drive, but people obviously have to pick and choose. Anyway, I don't know. I just don't understand why that concept hasn't come alive. Well, I just think it's such a good idea.
Wasn't there a tournament called the Dresdner Kleinwort Classic at Hampton Court?
Kleinwort.
Yeah. Again, I'm very good on my sponsor's pronunciation at the moment. But yeah, there was that, wasn't there? That was like an 8-man thing.
To be honest, like I'm not entirely sure. Like someone like Rob or Nick would know a lot more about that because they would have played it. Mike Gooding would know a lot more about that.
They'd probably have won it.
I'm not sure what the format was for that, but it was a Hampton Court-based tournament, I think.
Yeah, it was basically the Champions Trophy, but in a different form. But yeah, it's quite cool having a group stage. I think.
Yeah, why don't we do it? I just don't get it.
More opportunity for shocks. That's good. That can only be good.
So if you look at any kind of sport thing, right? Again, if you've got like the majors and they last 7, 8, 9 days like the British Open does, that's fine because you're seeing one of the absolute majors. One of the big things that some of the pros, who shall remain nameless, say is that the tournaments go on for too long and they want some short ones.
Really?
So, yeah, you could knock this thing out in like 5 days if you wanted to.
Yeah, 5 days is good. You can start that on a Wednesday.
Becomes a bit cheaper as well because you're not having to pay for as much court time and all that kind of less matches to mark.
I agree.
Actually, there's still quite a few matches to mark there, but I don't
know. We've got 2 tournaments there. What do I think? I mean, I think they're both good ideas. Just obviously, I don't do the full tour. Pick and choose my events, manage my schedule. But Yeah, obviously for someone who's playing full time, playing everything.
British Amateur, British Open, and pot.
And yeah, and the MCC Gold Racket.
The 3 majors.
And the 0 to 9s. That's my season. Yeah, I think it could become tough if there's no real off season. But like, I mean, yeah.
Well, there is an off season.
I think we've got to open this one up to our listenership. Yeah,
there is an off season because every single World Championship year, like now, there is nothing from this year for the people that aren't in it.
Yeah.
From mid-Feb to the beginning of June. That's an off season.
Is this pre-season training? It's mid-season break.
It's a mid-season
spring break.
Christmas spring break.
Let's go to Florida and play some golf. I'm going to talk about golf again. But no, guys, what do you think in the comments? So we've got a World Cup of tennis. Maybe put a poll out. What would you prefer?
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Because obviously then they've got to choose World Cup of tennis
World Tour finals or
yeah.
Open Bathurst, basically.
Yeah.
Open to all players, Bathurst Cup.
Yeah, it's like it'd be called the World Cup.
Yeah, I'm just thinking for like if people kind of come across the poll and go, what does that mean?
Yeah.
There's an existing thing. We're just tweaking it to create a new event.
So yeah, what do you think, guys? Have you got an idea for a tournament? I reckon you do. I reckon there's people hiding in the woodwork who've got ideas for tournaments who've kept quiet. But now the podcast is out there. Let us know in the comments on Twitter, Instagram, personal message. But yeah. Interesting that. I actually
tell me how rubbish those ideas are.
Yeah, please. Welcome the criticism. But yeah, so those are the two tournaments. And now, because we've got 10 minutes left or so, we'll move on to the next instalment of the Real Tennis Cyborg. Everyone's favourite 10 minutes section. Right, well, oh my God, Ben's smirking. He's just gone back in his chair. He's so excited because it's the backhand for the Real Tennis Cyborg. So last week we established that the Cyborg was going to be a right-handed backhand player. Obviously, just because that's more like common shot, I guess. I don't know what you'd say. I'm trying to use the right word.
Well, they're different types of shot, aren't they?
Yeah.
Let's assume if you go like absolute stock backhand for a righty, it's going to go cross court.
Yeah.
On the floor, or generally speaking, line and length. Let's say, if the classic player is in. Left-handed backhand. Now, I'm not left-handed, but if they're going to go down the line, generally speaking, and they're going to be hitting the timbre like kind of head height, so it's a different shot entirely.
I agree. So yeah, we're going right-handed. Well, any suggestions? Well, I mean, one thing I'd like to say is before we start, I've actually been nominated for the backhand cyborg by an anonymous source, and he also nominated me for the retrieval cyborg.
Is this one of your uni mates?
No.
They play reelers?
He plays reelers.
Are they, like...
He's better than...
Capable? Visually?
He is better than me on handicap.
Interesting. Well...
But I'm obviously...
The only person that must be... It can only be Camden Riviere, because...
It's not him.
So who on earth, no disrespect... Who on earth that is better than you, that clearly has a brain, because they're a good player, is going to...
I said he's better than me on handicap.
Exactly. So he's going to nominate your retrieving over Camden's.
I think maybe it was just a bit of banter, Ben.
Good.
But I was gassed to get.
So that was a wasted 2 minutes.
Behave yourself. But no, my backhand is definitely not getting in the Real Tennis Cyborg. I'm going to open up as well with a story Brian Sharp from Lords told me about David Cull, who was former head pro there. So apparently he was left-handed. So he was working. He's like 15 as an apprentice at Lords, and basically he went out to hit a ball left-handed, and like the existing pro went, no. We don't do left-handers here. So from then on, he had to learn how to play right-handed. So his backhand apparently was really, really good.
What, the opposite of Rafael Nadal?
Yeah, I guess so. Or did he get taught to play lefty?
Yeah, he's right-handed.
That's so sick. But yeah, like imagine that you guys hit the ball. No, Lords, we don't do left-handers. You're gonna have to feed right-handed. Oh no.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. Apparently, he had a really aesthetically pleasing backhand. But
that is a cool story. I've never heard that.
You got any suggestions?
Well, we did have somebody that sent us a list of like the whole cyborg, didn't we?
Yeah, we
and
did.
They said,
Simon Edmund.
They said backhand for the cyborg, Bryn Sayers, and then in brackets, sorry Ben, which means you must rate my backhand, so I'll take that.
Yeah, exactly. That's a weak suggestion. Stick to your guns.
Sorry Simon, got some bad news for you, and sorry Bryn, got some bad news for you. Bryn's backhand is a left-handed forehand.
Yeah, the way he holds the racket. Yeah.
So unfortunately. banned from the cyborg.
Yeah, no, it is a lovely backhand, incredibly steady. Great on the volley, but yeah, it's not quite what we're looking for in the cyborg.
Well, I mean, it's technicality, but
Exactly.
he holds it as a left-handed forehand, therefore. And don't get me wrong, it's an amazing shot.
Yeah.
I'd rather have that than my backhand, but that's because it's a forehand.
Yeah, indeed. Did Nick Wood have a good backhand, Ben?
Yes.
Did it look really good? I've watched
everything about Nick's game looked really good, didn't it?
Yeah, that's
Name
what I'm
one
saying.
thing that he did that looked ugly.
The glasses, I don't know. It just doesn't look that cool.
General
I'm joking. Nick, I'm joking.
Yeah, Nick's backhand was like extremely good.
Yeah.
Extremely good.
Snowy.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we're talking like ground strokes, there's not many people better in years gone by.
Yeah, that's fair. Who else? I'm trying to think.
Well, you're missing a pretty obvious one here.
What, backhand?
You telling me you wouldn't want Rob Fay's backhand?
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Rob.
We always like avoid mentioning Rob, but like.
Well, we don't because
his backhand's generally very good.
Because he's the best player ever. So you can't ignore the GOAT. What we've said so far is that he's been absolutely up there with everything, but we don't think he's the best. So, but what if you had him second or third across the board, and you gave everybody points for things, he's still in first place at the moment. We just haven't selected an individual thing.
I like Rob's control, his controller length on his backhand.
So I'm going to say that having played both of these people, Rob's backhand was better than Nick's because there's just a bit more. Like there's a bit more spike and punch on it.
Yeah, fair.
So I get that. Like Nick's backhand and Rob's backhand, extremely tight, extremely good. Rob's just got to the spot, or does get to the spot, a bit quicker than Nick's. So there's a bit more time pressure with Rob's as well. So that would be the only reason, and we've got to be picky. Yeah, that would be the only reason I would put Rob's above Nick's.
So like last week,
we've got to be picky because at the end of the day, it's not you. If you're being mentioned, that's a good thing.
Honestly, Like, so we were talking on text like last week about it. Cause I was like, flipping, it's quite hard to nominate people with a backhand because everyone hits one. And I was just like, I envisage someone. You know what? Who would you just not hit to his backhand? Like, he's literally going to tell you to fuck off. Like, if he hits one, like, bang, that's his shot. I couldn't really think of anyone, to be fair. I mean, I remember Josh Smith saying to me, like, Chappers actually hits his backhand harder than his forehand. I was like, I mean, I don't know if that's true, but
it's 100% true.
Yeah, and it's like, well, I mean,
he just never does it.
Yeah, it's weird. Is there anyone out there who genuinely?
Well, it's not necessarily the type of ball that you like spank around, is it? Oh God! Okay, I'm not mocked here. I'm not going to read that out.
Anyway,
we're not looking for that type of. What we're looking for the best backhand for a right-hander. Is the ability to hit floor main wall timbre, and then when they've got the opportunity, slide it to the left of the timbre, but also has the ability on certain balls to kind of drive.
Yeah, exactly.
Hit,
you have a bit of everything.
Shot selection at the same time.
That's true.
And that's why Rob has the ability, if the length is right, to have that FU backhand, like half volley grill, something like that, which Nick generally wasn't. I'm not saying he didn't have it. It's not really the style he used. So, like, Chappers does hit his backhand harder than his forehand, but he chooses, because of the shots he's trying to play, to not really do it that often.
I agree.
So, the power's definitely there.
Yeah, Drew Lyons, great backhand.
Both sides, right?
Fantastic. Cheers for that. Well, that actually got suggested. Honestly, some people. But no, Ben, I'm actually going to mention you. Your backhand's really good. Just saying. A lot of people would say that. It's definitely better than your forehand.
Well, you've seen the Real Tennis Cards, right? It's a 95.
Yeah, tell you what. Real Tennis Cards, obviously this new advent on Instagram. We might put a link to it on Facebook. But everyone's got a bit of a rating for their attributes. Your backhand rating, is it the best?
Well, I'm just going to have a look at that now, actually.
95 is good.
Camden backhand 88, Rob 92, Chappers 82, BTM 95.
Oh wow.
Nick Howell, we'll gloss over that, and Lummers. Only based on the stat, Steve not 82. The only person that is beating me so far, according to the Real Tennis Cards, is the Chris Ronaldson Legend card.
Yeah, well, that's just obviously on FIFA. Those guys actually weren't that good. But yeah, now your backhand's good. What makes your backhand decent, do you reckon?
Well,
I think it's your length. I think you hit a good length.
You tell me. I don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't have to face it.
Having been on the receiving end of it many times, I think it's just sort of an annoying length every time. You don't even like rip it. It's just sort of punch it down there. Isn't that right? With a backhand, it doesn't have to be like massive cut. It's just if you're getting downward pressure on the ball, like hitting it flat.
I reckon that something I do well generally on my backhand side is my shot selection is very good.
That's
I don't
a
really
good point.
do
That's
anything
cool,
to like. I seem to select the right shot, or I seem to select a shot. Generally speaking, that doesn't get me in trouble.
Yeah, that's a good point actually, and often overlooked. I reckon shot selection on
Technique
your
solid,
backhand.
but I would say, I mean, like someone tell me, I reckon, like my technique backhand wise is like quite similar to like Rob's, like
Yeah,
short, compact,
agree with that.
get like a good punch in there.
Yeah, that's true.
Something that Rob does much better than me is like hit down the line with it if he wants to. He does that better than me.
I think you've probably still got both corners, just maybe like Rob does it from a harder place.
Rob does it with much harder balls.
Yeah,
like,
honestly, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
when I'm hitting
yeah.
with Rob and I kind of hit like a good backhand to his backhand and he just like stabs this thing down the line and hits it tight and I'm literally like, fuck off, mate. How are you doing that?
Ironically, I remember watching you two play at Lords in the European Open 2015, and you both had like this sort of down the line exchange. I think you maybe on the backhand, he was on the forehand.
It would I'm telling you now, it wouldn't have been my forehand because it wouldn't have gone on for long enough.
I think basically you changed ends because it ended up with like a gallery or something, and I think you basically said to each other like, "Yeah, that's what we were practicing the other day." Or something. Is that right? Do you remember this? Or like,
I remember doing some of that stuff with Rob at Lords. Yeah, I used to hit with Rob at Lords a bit.
Yeah.
So we probably did. It was probably one of those moments where, like, after a couple of shots, you both just twigged and you're like, "I'm just going to keep doing this.
Yeah, keep doing it.
See which one breaks first."
However, no, I think it ended in a chase. It was fine. You lost that match 3-1 though.
Interesting stat about that match.
Go on.
This is a fact because that was when like Chase One, the Chase One app. And by the way, if you guys don't like you use the Chase One app, get yourself in there because it's like gives you all the stats you could ever want. So very fun fact about that match. I lost 3-1.
Yeah, you did. It's close then.
We won exactly the same number of points.
Oh well.
Like exactly the same number.
Did that make you feel better?
It made me think I'm obviously winning enough points to win the match, which is good. But ultimately, I've lost 3-1. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know.
Because I think the 3 sets that he won were,
I think the final set was like 6-5.
4-4-4, and the one I won was like a 1 or a 2 or something.
It's always going to be the way.
But that's what Rob's been good at, isn't it?
That's quite
the
good
ability to basically not tank a set. I'm not suggesting that for 1 second, but literally just like, do you know what? I don't need to worry about this one. Let's just fire up for the next one.
So, well, honestly, it's hard with the backhand. We're struggling for genuine. There's no one who stands out.
Well,
really.
see, I think we've got the biggest pool of people we could possibly have.
But you've been nominated by a lot of people.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. But you know, like we've done before, everybody can serve, but like there's always been like a select few that we've looked at and gone, they're good. And we've looked at people's individual serves and we then decided that like as a collective.
Dave Woodman's backhand volley force, the best ever.
Exactly. But, you know, can he nudge a floor main or timbre on a cold Tuesday night? Who knows?
Probably never did.
He probably didn't try because he was too busy
forcing.
Too busy trying to hit a hazard to get down the other end. So I think the pool of players is like the pool of options is much bigger, but because you don't get that like relentless like FU backhand as you call it, because it's not a shot that you really go nuts on. It's harder to separate people.
Yeah.
But on the basis that we're running out of time, as a backhand, as a whole, for the shot selection that they have, the ability to hit like length and width and grills when it's there, and just the punch that they can get through the ground, it's got to be Rob Fay for me.
You're too modest, Ben. If it was me, I'd have backed myself and gone, I actually think I have the best. Oh no, actually, well, maybe the best backhand in the world, but like. Maybe I'll give you that.
Well, look, put it this way. Whether someone says I've got the best backhand in the world or not, and I say it to you in practice all the time, because you would not believe the amount of banter that goes on court, like when we're practicing. But whether my backhand is the best in the world or not, based on someone's opinion, doesn't really bother me. I'm happy with it myself. So
fair enough. I think Rob Fay is.
I don't think Rob Fay's going to give two hoots that we've nominated his backhand as the best of all time.
Absolutely not.
It's not going to like. And for the, I don't think Nick Wood is going to suddenly get out there and go, right, I'm going to just get a bit more punch on it, see if I can get a Megashin next time.
Sending us videos. So I think Rob Fay, Rob Fay.
Rounded, all round, just relentless pressure.
Yeah, I agree.
Rob Fay.
I don't think anyone's going to dispute that. That's Rob Fay with the backhand on the cyborg. So yeah, we'll go again. Chris Ronaldson,
serving.
Chin Chisholm return a serve.
Camden getting that back,
retrieving
down the line, and then Rob hitting the FU backhand.
Yeah, just something. Rob hitting a tough ball. Next podcast, where are we going with it? Forehand?
Well, I mean, I guess we have to, don't we?
Yeah, it's got to be forehand.
I mean, it makes the obvious choice.
So guys,
are we going right-handed again?
No, it could be either.
So we're ignoring the forehand corner for our right-hander. Potentially. As in, if we go for a lefty, we're looking at both shots from that corner.
I think any forehand for me, lefty. I think because it's so important for both players.
Okay.
I just have one. Just one guy in mind for a forehand.
Well, there's no harm in us mentioning both.
I agree. That is true.
Good backhand lefties. Anyone? I mean, I have to say one thing: left-handers' backhands look horrible.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's so inside out.
Yeah, I know.
But no one hits the return a serve tickler down the line like Cam.
I agree. But we'll be on forehands next week. Get your suggestions in if you haven't already, and let us know what you think of the two tournaments. We've slightly overrun again, but honestly, the real Tennis Chat, it's never ending.
If anybody's got a hazard joke, I'm starting to run a bit light, so send them over.
We might just have to do a joke. However, until next week, hope you've enjoyed this one and look forward to hearing your feedback.